Uhuru, you are listening to the Reparations in Action podcast and FM radio show. My name is Brendan McCoy, and today I am hosting Reparations in Action, which broadcasts weekly on Black Power 96.3 FM in St. Petersburg, Florida. Reparations in Action, also known as White Lies Shattered, is a program of white solidarity with Black Power, produced by members of the African People's Solidarity Committee. We believe reparations to African people is the key question of our times and is one that demands action on the part of European or white people. As always, I want to start by saluting our leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the African People's Socialist Party for leading the African Revolution and developing the theory of African internationalism and the understanding of the colonial mode of production. African internationalism is the theory and worldview of the African working class that guides the struggle for African liberation, and which we credit for all of the understandings and analysis provided on this podcast. I'd also like to salute Black Power 96, where this show is aired and recorded for our podcast. Black Power 96 is not just explaining the world, but changing it. You can get the app for Black Power 96 on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and listen wherever you were located. Acting as my co-host today, I'm honored to be joined by Chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Jesse Neville. Welcome.
Uhuru, Comrade Brendan, and everybody. It's great to be here on Black Power 96.
Uhuru, we also have some other incredible comrades joining us. Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee, Penny Hess. Uhuru. Welcome, and special guests joining us for this incredible episode. We have Maureen Wagner, APSC and member of APSC and director of Uhuru Foods and Pies under the leadership of APEDF President Ona Zane Yeshitela, and Seale Muyenda, outreach coordinator for Uhuru Foods and Pies. Welcome, both of you. Absolutely. Thank you for being on. And now I just want to talk a little about Black Power 96. This is a Black community radio station. The mission of Black Power 96 is to defend the human and civil rights of the African community through our educational and cultural programming, to provide professional radio broadcasting training, and to promote economic development and self-reliance in the African community. And this radio program, Reparations in Action, is all about white solidarity with African power. So I just want to ask my co-host here, Jesse, can you talk a little bit about why it is so important for white people to support Black Power 96?
Uhuru, Brendan. Again, it's great to be here, and just want to recognize everybody, and of course, Chairwoman Penny Hess, who's always on Reparations in Action and White Lies Shattered. And everybody that's part of this, Comrade Seale, Maureen, and you, Brendan, and I know we have some other very special guests coming up. And I just wanted to say that we are so honored to have Reparations in Action / White Lies Shattered on Black Power 96. It's a great honor. We want to salute our leadership, the leadership of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in particular, which plays a role in this program, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, and also APEDF President Ona Zane Yeshitela.
Yes.
All of the profound work that both of them lead in the struggle for African self-determination. I also want to recognize Akile Anai, who is a leading force in the Uhuru movement's media and communications work. And of course, Black Power 96 station manager, Eddie Maultsby.
Yes,
absolutely amazing. And I'm a proud member of the African People's Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And we are the organizations that have the job of speaking to other white people about why it is not only our responsibility, but also in our interests and our own liberation to stand in solidarity with African people and join a positive future for all of humanity. And this is based on the understanding from the Uhuru movement and Chairman Omali Yeshitela that there is colonialism inside this country and around the world. And we don't want to live in a system built on oppression, slavery, genocide, where white people sit on the pedestal of the oppression of everybody else for 500 years or more. We see war, genocide, and oppression all over the world. But Black Power 96 is taking the stand that this world can and must be changed. And that's what this is about. It's our opportunity to say, we're not going to leave this legacy to the next generation. We can be a part of changing this reality. the slogan of Black Power 96 is that it's not just explaining the world, it's changing the world. So when we support this from the white community, it is a stand for reparations to African people. It is beyond charity. It is a concrete stand of solidarity with African self-determination. And I just wanted to mention that I live in St. Louis today, but I used to live in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I remember when Black Power 96 was launched, it was an absolute game changer. To be able to be in your car and turn on the radio and hear incredible discussions with Chairman Omali Yeshitela and others about the world situation from the point of view of African people. Amazing African music, the best music on any radio station you're going to find. There's nothing like this anywhere. This is the people's radio station. It's the voice of the African working class. And when we, as white people, contribute to this station, it's more than just supporting a radio station. It's supporting independent African media, the voice of the African working class. So I'm very excited to be here, and I want to all of the white people tuning in today, get your debit cards, your credit cards out, dig deep, go to Black Power Blueprint 96. No, I'm sorry, blackpower96.org/donate. Our goal for this program is to raise $1,000 for the Black Power 96 fund drive. We can make reparations a reality. And I'm going to kick it off with a $100 contribution. And I encourage people to match me, or if you can donate the whole 1,000, you will be making a powerful contribution to amplifying the voice of the African working class to be heard loud and clear all around the world.
Absolutely. Uhuru, thank you for that, Chair Jesse. And I do want to make clear that today's special episode, this is part of the February fund drive for Black Power 96. The goal for this fund drive is $12,000. We have a goal for Reparations in Action to raise $1,000 of that $12,000, but there is nothing stopping us from raising the rest of this $12,000. So that would be incredible if we could do that. And I just want to say that I will match. I will hear that, answer that call, and I will pitch in $100 as well. So Uhuru. So, and yeah, I want to encourage everyone, please go to blackpower96.org/donate and contribute. The station is also giving some incredible give backs for anybody who's donating this month only. We'll talk about those in just a little bit. So now I do want to go ahead and welcome. We have two very special guests joining us today. We have station manager for Black Power 96 Radio, Mr. Eddie Maultsby, and Black Power 96 volunteer Sandy Forrest joining us. So welcome both of you.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, Sandy. Uhuru, Mr. Eddie, can you hear us?
I can, Brendan. Can you hear me? And Uhuru,
yes. Yeah, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Thank you both for joining me on this special episode. It is, it's an honor to have you both on. I do want to go ahead and start with Mr. Eddie. I just a little introduction to any of our listeners who might not be familiar. I just want to ask, how and why did you get involved with this station? And what does Black Power 96 mean for the Black community?
Well, I got involved with the station many years. I sung downtown in St. Petersburg, Florida for 30 plus years. And as I was getting up in age, I said I can't continue to be a street performer. So everybody knows me in the community, and it's just a wonderful thing how I did get started singing on the streets. Because now here at BP 96, when I heard about this radio station, I just thought to myself, Black Power, what a name, and I'm Black, and I believe I got power. So I can fill out the application and got a start, and so glad that I came here. And it's been just a tremendous journey to get to see people, meet new people that love this station. And this station is, Brandon, you asked about the station being what part in the community. Just, I can't tell you how many people I have met, not only coming here to the station, but just knowing the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and what this station really means to the people. It's an avenue. It's a place where people can turn on the airways of BP 96, not only here in St. Petersburg, but due to the app, they can hear it from all over. And it's just amazing how this starts. This radio station is the vibe, the heartbeat, the pulse of this community. Because people have called me all the time, Brandon, saying how much they have been inspired about this radio station, about the music, about the content, about the freedom. Uhuru means freedom, and we say it all the time on the station. The community lives, really just depends on true information, depends on, lifting us up, because our community has been so oppressed by the oppressor. And so it's good to hear good news. It's good to hear in the morning time. We start off with a little gospel, with inspiration, for those who love the Lord, and go on throughout the day, hearing speeches from Emmylou Hammond, from Dr. Martin Luther King, from Chairman O'Malley and Fatella. They just can't get that everywhere. This is one of a kind radio station, and that's why we're calling on the community to donate. Today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to all those who love Valentine's, or who, have a sweetheart. But let this station today be a part of your Valentine's. Let it be a part of your heart, and giving. We give from the heart, Brandon, and the community has been stopping by, and we just want to say thank you and continue to support. We're a long way away from our goal, so we hope today that we accomplish a lot of that today.
Uhuru.
Mr. Eddie, thank you so much. It's so great to have you on here. It's always such an honor. And I just want to agree with what you said. The greatest act of love that anyone could show today on Valentine's Day is to go to blackpower96.org/donate and show love for the people, for the voice of the African working class. So thank you for that, Mr. Eddie. And we wanted to ask you, so you are just an incredible person in so many ways. Not only do you manage this station, but you also host multiple powerful shows on Black Power 96. And you created something called the Local Going Global Contest. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I thought to myself, I'm an entertainer. Like I just said, I sung downtown, being a street performer for 30 years. And I believe in 1985, I made a album then, a record. And I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and it cost me almost close to $1,000 back then in 1985. And there was no such thing as, the internet back in them days for us. So as a black man, I created that single and paid all this money and went to a radio station and say, hey, can you play this? Feeling that they would feel a little bit sympathy for me because I was blind and paid all this money. But they said, no, I got a couple of slam doors in my face. Bam, can you play this? Ooh, no, we don't do that, and just close the door. So when I came here at BP 96, I thought to myself, I never want another member of my community to be treated the way I was treated, 30, 40 years ago, and now creating the Local Going Global Contest and this platform Black Power has for these local artists, which I'll be doing it today at 5 o'clock. The top 5, a little plug for myself and the station, the top 5 local artists. Artists can send their music in to submit music at Black Power 96, and they get they get the powerful platform that people can hear their music all over the country, all over the world. We had so many people sending music in from everywhere. A brother just a few months ago from Louisville, Kentucky, the home of the greatest boxer ever lived to me. What is his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name right now. Cassius Clay. Let's just say Cassius Clay. I can't think of Muhammad Ali. Yeah, and he's from Louisville, Kentucky, and so many others from Canada. Donna and Shaka from San Diego, California. Seamus from just North Carolina. Just too many to name, but what a powerful platform local artists have, and they're not going to be turned away. The community radio station, Black Power 96.3, is opening up that airways for many, many people to have their talents heard and played over these airways of BP 96, man. That's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. There aren't many, community radio stations in the United States left. And there's certainly not one like Black Power 96. And one of the critical services that this station provides to the community is emergency alerts and information whenever, the seasonal hurricanes, storms are headed to St. Pete. And I want to congratulate you on meeting the station's first benchmark of this fund drive. I know we're at, before we got on, we were, Black Power 96 was at $3,553 of that $12,000 goal. So we hit that first benchmark, and that's going towards, new equipment that's needed for these alerts, for the weather service. And this money is in place of money that was supposed to come from federal COVID relief funds almost 2 years ago. And this was taken away by the local, by the Pinellas County commissioners. Can you talk a little bit? Can you tell us about that? What happened there?
Yes, Brandon, what they done is just really horrendous move to actually say that we had won the grant, and we did everything that the grant was asking us to do. We were rated 4 out of about 79 people that filed for the grant. We was at like number 4. And saying that we're going to give us the grant, but in the 9th hour, when it came to writing the checks, they rescinded that. They revoked that they were going to give us the check. But the people come out, and the black people, the black community, people that love the radio station, they came out in droves. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people signed a petition. We went to the county courthouse and laid our demands and said that this is what we want, but nevertheless, they have still not gave us that grant. We're still fighting for that grant, because what they did was just, it was something that has never, ever been done before. You're giving a grant, saying that you're going to get this grant, and then at the last minute just revoked it, just took it away. And that has hurt the station tremendously, because now that's why we need so much money. Just the operational alone is going to take us $6,000, from February to July. So it's important that we keep this, and we're going to keep fighting, Brandon. This is not the end for BP 96 and not getting that grant, because it was issued to us, so we should have the right to it. So we're fighting legally, we're fighting physically, we're fighting. We have the people on the ground here fighting, and again, people signing petitions, and we're going to keep fighting for this grant, because it was ours. It was ours. We did it fair and square. Again, this is a precedent that this has happened, and only, why would we say this? Only to a black community radio station. Just a fight, always struggling against this colonial system, Brandon.
Thank you, Mr. Eddy. And, of course, our message here on reparations in action for the white communities, that we've got to get behind this fight 100%.
Yes.
And this was an outrageous attack on the right of African people to have their own independent media, to have their own voice. And white people have to come out and support this. And one incredibly important way we can do that is by contributing to this fund drive that's happening right now. This is a part of the fight back. And Mr. Eddy, you talked a little bit about this already, the petitions that were signed and the response from the community. What has the ongoing response from the community been like as Black Power 96 has waged this battle to redeem these funds that are rightfully entitled to APEDF that were revoked by the Pinellas County Commission? How has the community come out to support the station in following these attacks?
Yes, the response has been great. I mean, anytime you have something in the community and the people know that it's for the community, then they get behind it. So I just said that all the petitions been signed, and what I would like, Brandon, for the people to stay on notice. Stay behind us, stay with us, and let from here ear to ear. Something that we need to do, not only in the movement, but people do all the time. And don't forget to do it. Share Share the information, because if people don't have the information, they're not going to be supportive. You can tell a brother to do this and do that, but if he don't know, and I've heard it been told by the colonial system, ignorant of the law is no game for them. They don't care if you know the law or don't know the law. But the way for us to stay in power and stay organized is to share, tell, say what's going on. No matter what, that's what we're talking about. Freedom of speech here at Black Power 96. I have the right to speak as well as they have the right to hear what the county did. And so that's why we want to continue to keep them abreast of what's going on. And I invite all of you all to whatever propaganda you see, whatever paper or notice you see, put it on your Facebook page, put it on wherever you do social media, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you do it so the community can know what is actually going on in their community, because their colonial system will keep it away from them. They sure will.
That's right. And yeah, you said it, not just, our right to say anything, but the people's right to hear it. And let's make sure that people hear it. Sandy, on the note on this subject of, this ridiculous fight, this ridiculous attack on the station by the Pinellas County Commission, you were involved in preparing this grant. And this grant that finished very highly, and that was well regarded, and you're also very involved in this fight back. Can you tell us, can you add anything about this attack?
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to join in saluting station manager Eddie Maultsby and you all that are hosting this program today. But it's just such an honor to volunteer, as a person from the white community. It's our job to win reparations, to pay reparations, and to win everyone that we know and everyone that we can come into contact with to support reparations to the African community. And that comes in the form of cash money, what we want to raise today. And it also comes in the form of our time and our skills and whatever we can bring to it. And so it's an honor to be volunteering with Black Power 96, under the leadership of Mr. Eddie and Deputy Chair Ona Zane, the president of African People's Education and Defense Fund, of which this station is a project. So yeah, I was involved in pursuing this grant, and it was actually 2 grants that they took from the station. The first one was for equipment for the station, which included the emergency alert system that every 7 or 8 years you really have to pay to upgrade the equipment and software, and it costs about $3,000. So it's an expensive piece of equipment, and the grant had gone in for a total of, I think it was about $37,000, the first one. So it also included other equipment in the studio, including for Mr. Eddie to have a greater access to accessibility. As you have seen or know, or I don't know if it was mentioned, Mr. Eddie is 100% blind and is so brilliant operating the mixing board, being on air, calling people, organizing benefit concerts, just incredible work. And part of the equipment that was supposed to come from that grant was to assist him in accessibility and being able to interact with technology and things like that. And so that grant was awarded. And then and that was back in November of 2023. And then the station was on track to be awarded the second grant, which was to get a whole building generator for the Uhuru House. And that was 60-something thousand. So we're talking a total of $100,000 that rightfully should be coming to the station, should have already come to Black Power 96. And that whole building generator was to be able to keep the station on air during these hurricanes.
Right.
And not only the station, but the other programs that the African People's Education and Defense Fund operates, the food kitchen that prepares food for the community there at the Uhuru House, so that when there are power outages, which are frequent in St. Petersburg, that the freezers wouldn't die. And so for so many important community service, some of this federal COVID money was supposed to come to the African People's Education Defense Fund and to Black Power 96 Radio. And a couple months after the first grant was awarded, the county commissioners said, wait a minute, we don't want to fund that group. We don't want to fund that African group. Look into that. What's up with that African group? And so they basically singled out the African People's Education Defense Fund, Black Power 96 Radio, to retract and withdraw the grant, although the station had already signed a contract, had already, was been told and been awarded publicly this money, and then that was withdrawn, and that was revoked, never came to the station. And then the second grant for the building permit was denied, although again, the station for the second time ranked fourth out of, as Mr. Eddy said, 79 different applicants. So the station retained an attorney, a brilliant attorney, Luke LaRoe, and his staff, on his staff, Rachel Ricks, who are two very accomplished First Amendment free speech attorneys in the Pinellas County. And they took up the case, filed suit in federal court, charging the county with 3 counts: denial of First Amendment rights, because they basically, what they said in the meetings was, we don't want to fund that Black Power station. We don't want to fund that African station. They're affiliated with they're part of the Uhuru movement, and we don't want to support their political perspectives. The station, they wrongfully accused the station of being anti-Semitic. They even put into one of their court filings that people who are members of the Uhuru movement, with which Black Power 96 is associated, had done an anti-Semitic murder in Miami and had attacked 2 Jewish men, which then they had to retract because it was exposed that that was completely false, that they just made that up. And so they did all this slander. They said that that the group applying, which is African People's Education Defense Fund, regularly ran candidates for office. No, it doesn't. A nonprofit cannot do that and wouldn't have its 501c3 status if it did. But they said that in public meetings. They said that the station was under investigation from the FBI. Never was, never is not named in any FBI or any kind of legal action. So they said all these things and they revoked the grant. And so the station is suing in federal court under the counts of violation of First Amendment and also racial discrimination, because of all of the groups that got this ARPA COVID relief money. The monies come to these municipalities based on the statistics of poverty in the Black community, but then they are awarded to all these white groups. And we were able to show that in our filing. And so that suit is ongoing, and just want to really express support for everyone who has supported it. Mr. Eddy mentioned the petitions, and when the station was first contesting this with the county, over 800 people, Mr. Eddy called on the air, hey, we're fighting for this funding. We had it, then they revoked it. We want you to sign a petition. Do you support the station having these resources? And over 800 people from that local community came down, signed a petition. The politicians don't care about that because they don't really represent the people. They really represent gentrification and the moneyed interests. So they did not do the will of the people, but we are still making the fight in court. And from appealing to everyone listening to this broadcast right now, support Black Power 96, make your donation. This is a really important radio station, and I'm just very honored to be volunteering and supporting it, and call on everyone to join me in doing that.
Uhuru, so we have seen some news about new federal government actions in relation to non-commercial media. Is this something that Black Power 96 is concerned about?
Yeah, so about 7 days after being elected President of the US, Donald Trump named Brendan Carr, a veteran FCC commissioner, to become the FCC's new chairman. And Carr is the author of the FCC section of Project 2025, the agenda that the Heritage Foundation put forward for Trump's second term, many proposals of which are now being enacted. So on January 30th, he ordered an investigation into NPR, National Public Radio, and PBS, the public broadcast service, the public television, regarding their business sponsorship or underwriters on charges that they are violating rules of no commercials. And the FCC has also launched investigation into media companies' DEI staffing and recruitment programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And of course, you will never hear unlawful commercials on Black Power 96 because the station has always known it can be targeted by those who want to silence African working class voices and a Black Power agenda. But Black Power 96 Radio has been part of several meetings in the past week with other community radio stations and programmers and activists who are very alarmed at the potential for silencing dissenting voices in the media, sorry. And it is concerning that there may be increased FCC surveillance and fines and threats to the licenses. But, you know, Black Power 96 was already under attack for representing the interests and the voices of the African community. And the Uhuru movement has shown how to fight and win. So the station is engaged in that fight, looking forward to many more years of broadcasting. And let's join together. And if we fight, we can win. So, Uhuru.
And we are winning. I just want to say people are fired up that are listening, sending in donations. We're getting closer and closer to our goal. I want to thank Johan in St. Petersburg, Florida, who put in $15. We have Jan here in St. Louis, who put in $50. Uhuru Jan. We have Ruby here in St. Louis, who put in $100. Uhuru to Ruby.
Ruby.
We have MQ, the amazing MQ, amazing part of this movement, and Punta Gorda, who put in $25. Uhuru. So we're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
Continue to go to blackpower96.org/donate. Our total, there's one I haven't announced. I don't know if the donor wants to announce at some point, but I can.
I put in $100.
There we go. All right, Maureen, our special guest, put in $100. So we have now $590 raised. Only
also Lisa, right?
And Lisa, yes, Lisa put in 100. Myself, I put in 100. Brendan put in 100, and Comrade Maureen put in 100. So with everybody combined, we have raised $590. We're already over halfway towards the goal, right as we get halfway over the halfway point of our show. So let's get the rest of the 410 and more in to make this happen. blackpower96.org/donate.
Yes.
100.
There we go.
So we only need what?
So 310. Right there.
Skull. We got it. Get that.
Absolutely.
I just want to say something
Yes.
quickly. Yes.
I don't think we can hear Chairwoman Penny.
Can you hear her now? Oh, did it come unplugged? Oh, did it pop on now?
It's on.
Uhuru. Oh, there you go. Here you go. Now you, sorry,
Okay.
Art.
Tyler, dear.
It just
Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm here.
technical difficulties.
Yeah, I wanted to say that that the thing that is so powerful is that the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party, has institutions of dual and contending power, meaning institutions by and for the African working class in St. Louis with the basketball court, the bakery is going to be, this is the struggle that we're in right now, and a beautiful garden and event space and many other things, housing and Uhuru houses in 3 cities, St. Petersburg, Florida, Oakland, California, and here in St. Louis, and organization, Hands Off Uhuru, and the African People's Socialist Party all throughout Africa, in the Caribbean, in Europe, all around the world. So this is a unique and powerful organization. There is nothing else like it in the world. And the fact that, that it has a radio station is absolutely magnificent. And we want to keep it on the air.
Yes.
And it's a main voice for the African working class. There's no other radio station in the world that is openly by and for the African working class, and allies and friends of the African working class being on there. And I just also want to say that there's been a tremendous victory. The Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party, has been very much involved in the whole struggle to free Leonard Peltier. And this past week, it was said that he will be able to experience, I think they call it a commutation of his sentence. He will be able to carry out the rest of his sentence at home, which is indigenous land of the Lakota reservation, I believe in South Dakota. So that is an incredible victory, and that you'll be hearing more about that. He will be released on February 18th.
Wow.
So we will have more shows on this. And yeah, so it's a great period. And as the chairman says, this is how you fight Trump.
Right.
Yeah, you fight Trump under the leadership of the African Revolution, just like it was Fannie Lou Hamer and Rosa Parks made the struggle in the 50s that totally destroyed the McCarthy era, what they called the McCarthy era, which is very similar to the era we live in now. It is the Uhuru movement, the African People's Socialist Party, that is leading the fight against this. It's 2.0 of total repression that we see right now.
Uhuru. And I just want to thank Chairwoman Penny, and people are listening and they're inspired. We want to thank Robin in Florissant, Missouri, who put in $40. Yes. Thank you so much, Robin. Incredible. So glad to have you listening in today. And that means we only have $270 left to go towards our goal at blackpower96.org/donate.
Uhuru. And just a couple more questions for our guests joining us remotely. So as far as like ways to support this station, like we are, obviously having our fundraiser today, and Black Power 96 is having, the February fundraiser. But Mr. Eddie, so you are known as the Ray Charles Gospel, well-earned nickname, and you've built a close relationship with faith community in St. Pete. And I understand that there's a big event coming up tomorrow to support the station. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on down in St. Pete?
Yes, thank you, Brendan, for that. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, the doors are open at 5 p.m. The concert is going to be at Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church. The faith-based, and we talk about Black Power, and I came here, and the first thing they asked, what kind of music you wanted to play? Well, I'm from the Christian background, so I said, I want to do gospel. And gospel went from gospel to the Midday Cafe, from local artists, from Smooth Grooves, just hosting a host of shows. But with the gospel base, it started out in the morning. And what a big gospel show we're going to have. We're going to have local artists from Fort Pierce, Florida, driving all the way up here to St. Petersburg to support this gospel program tomorrow. And so many others have joined. Reverend Fleming Tarver, who's a national recording artist, and they with my dad managed that group for 20-some years. They're going to lend their support. A big, huge gospel. I called it and phrased it since it's Valentine's weekend, for the love of Jesus. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that Valentine's weekend? Not for the love of man, not for the love of your wife and your husband, but for the love of Jesus. Let's do this for the love of God, because Jesus was a revolutionary.
Absolutely.
And so why not say for the love of Jesus? Why not say Black Power, lifted up the power of Jesus? And we've done that here, connecting with the faith, with the base. So yeah, Brandon, thank you for that, because I really want the people to show up. They can get tickets, and they can buy tickets now. And just because you can't come to the program, you can buy a ticket online and tell me to give it away, and I'll be glad to give it. Only $20. So you can go to blackpower96.org/gospel. Several people have bought tickets already online, but we need more to make it a success. This is another part of raising funds for the station, this big gospel program. Again, go to blackpower96.org/gospel and buy a $20 ticket. You buy a ticket and you can't make it, you live in California somewhere or Detroit, well, buy that ticket and I'll give it away on the radio to somebody who really wants to go but really maybe can't afford to go. And I've given away several already, Brandon. Just the heart of this station.
Yeah, get the people out to this show. And I will say, I'm sure everybody up here in St. Louis right now is incredibly jealous, missing out on much better weather and some incredible music tomorrow. So, Uhuru, I want to thank you both for joining me. Before we let you go, Mr. Eddie and Sandy, do either of you have any parting words for the listeners? Other ways to support the station?
Uhuru, I would just encourage people, if you're interested in radio and you love radio and music, to volunteer. You can go to Black Power 96, sign up and volunteer.
Right.
You'll get an orientation. You don't have to live in St. Pete. I don't live in St. Pete anymore, but I volunteer every day with the station. So whether you want to do outreach, whether you want to edit audio, whether you want to write public service announcements, whether you want to produce documentaries, there's a place for you if you love media. So sign up and join.
Yes. And I would add, Brandon, in closing that, I thank Sandra for that. But this station, again, for me, I have a big, profound love for the station because, as I told you, singing downtown 35 years, and I came to this radio station, and they treated me just like I was a normal person, 100% blind. I went from 2 years of being a DJ, and then 2 years of being assistant station manager to 2 years being now station manager and instead of assistant manager. But what a community, what a movement that can take on and hire a disabled blind person and make them feel like they are sitting on top of the world. What an organization, what a radio station, what a movement. This is what I'm talking about, getting together, Black people getting together, and just the tremendous talent that Black people have. And I thank you. I just feel like I'm the beacon of light to a lot of people now that listen to this radio station. If that blind man can do it, so can I.
Uhuru. Thank you, Mr. Eddie. Thank you, Sandy, for being on today. And I believe we've put that the link for that event tomorrow in St. Pete in the chat. If not, please do. And encourage everybody to buy a ticket or go out. And before we get to our next, we actually got an announcement from my co-host Jesse. I do want to shout out Wendy. Looks like Wendy donated $10 twice. Oh, sorry. Wendy donated $10 in Oakland. Caitlin, $50. Uhuru Caitlin. Did we already say Robin? Shout out to Robin again. So we are at $790. We need just 210 more to go to hit our goal. But I will say, the total goal for this month is $12,000, and we know how important this is. If anybody wants to contribute and break this goal, hit the goal today for this whole month. Go right ahead. But I will turn it over to my co-host today. Jesse, you have an announcement about another upcoming event.
Uhuru, and I'm going to try to do this rapid fire because we want to get to our guests, but we just want to invite our listeners to the Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Convention, March 15th and 16th, Saturday and Sunday, right here in St. Louis, the Uhuru House. You can also tune in online. You can find more information at uhurusolidarity.org/register. This is going to be an incredible conference based on the understanding that we just heard from Chairwoman Penny, that if you're a white person who's seeing what's happening in the country and in the world right now, and you want to fight back against Trump, stand with the Black Revolution. Get organized under the leadership of the African working class, who have always been at the forefront of the fight against oppression and for justice, peace, and reparations. This is the future, and you can be a part of that future by going to uhurusolidarity.org/register and signing up for the USM National Convention.
Uhuru.
Can't wait.
Absolutely, gonna be exciting. So can we pull just real quick? We're gonna go through the slides just to, let people know just a little bit more about what today's event is all about.
And wait, we want to shout out a very special donor, Amy Hess, $100. That is very exciting.
So,
So only $110 left to go, and I would suggest perhaps we turn to our guests
Yeah.
for the sake of time. Yeah.
okay.
Just keep donating
Keep
to all of our
donating.
listeners. Go to blackpower96.org/donate.
We do have some give backs. I do want to say, all donors will get this magnet, weather the storms together, this cool magnet for Black Power 96. And then I do want to encourage anyone to become a monthly sustainer. If you become a monthly sustainer for $10 a month, then you will get this Black Power 96 LED flashlight that charges, I believe, just by squeezing the flashlight charges it. And so, in an emergency, your power's out, you have a source of light, in any case. So, Uhuru, and let's go ahead and thank you both for joining me. Just an introduction for our incredible guests that are joining again. Maureen Wagner, member of APSC and director of Uhuru Foods and Pies under the leadership of APEDF President Onisine Yeshatela, and Seali Moyenda, outreach coordinator for Uhuru Foods and Pies. So thank you both for being here. I know you were probably here anyway. Thank you. Really, you guys are hosting us today. So thank you for hosting us. We're, at the incredible Uhuru House. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you to President Ona for hosting us today. But Maureen, so some of, we have here in St. Louis, APEDF has been struggling against the local government, just like Black Power 96 has been struggling. So APDF has been struggling against the city of St. Louis to open this bakery and cafe on the north side, in the African neighborhood. Can you give us a little bit of background on this struggle? When did it start, and what has the city been saying? Like, why are these attacks happening?
These two struggles are really similar, actually. Yeah. And I'm going to actually let Sally answer that question. Has been doing a lot of outreach in the community, so.
Well, I'll just quickly say that, on January 2024, we bought the building at 3719 West Florissant Avenue here in St. Louis. And, did the interior demolition, was making progress to get it ready. Then we found out that we needed a conditional use permit because we want to build out the building a little bit so we have extra production space. So when we found that out, okay, we started canvassing the community, in particular the College Hill area where the bakery is located. So we went to many houses, talked with people, got signatures on our petitions of support, went out to different businesses, both north and south side, and got signatures from those individuals, and put everything together, got all the documents filled, dotted the I's, crossed the T's, and sent all that information to the city. And, in preparation for the conditional use hearing that was happening on August 22nd of 2024. Went through the hearing, had a lot of people and talk in favor of Uhuru Bakery Cafe. And then we had one dissenting person, one white woman that, basically said, don't want it, said the African community couldn't afford to go to a restaurant anyway, just really horrible things that she said about the African community, and really was speaking for the African community. And we know we can speak for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we went through that whole thing, and we're just like, I hope we get this permit. So in early September, we get the letter denied. Saying that Uhuru Bakery Cafe would be a detriment to the safety, health, and morals of the
dangerous restaurant.
It's like, and the basic premise was because the Russia question, Russia, which APDF has nothing to do with, was not indicted or anything to that sort. Anyway, now we're faced with having to do an appeal, which means we had to pay $200 to get an appeal and everything. We did that. Again, we did a lot of research. We did a lot of investigation. We did a lot of work. We got a lawyer and everything. Again, crossed the T's and dotted the I's and submitted all the information, re-canvassed the community. Where people was like, you still haven't opened up yet? It's like, it's the city. It's like, yeah, I know. It's, everybody knows, familiar with how corrupt and dysfunctional the city government is, and but still have support for the Bakery Cafe, because we're providing not only delicious, healthy food, but we're providing jobs and everything else, training. So we went through the whole appeal hearing. And I'll just tell you, it was an arduous process. It was 3.5 hours of, a lot of things, and I'm not going to say it on the radio, but ultimately they overturned the denial for the permits, and we got it. We won, but it was a hard fought process. To get your law, in a food desert, in a food desert, yes, exactly,
in a building that was a restaurant.
Yes, big restaurant for 22 years. So we really went through a lot of work to make this happen, and we documented, showed reports, showed the support from the community, showed the maps of where the vacant properties are that the city's been sitting on, and showed where the people, where we visited and got people's signatures and support and so forth. There was no denying that we had our stuff together.
Absolutely.
And the dissenters, there were a few, but they didn't get their way.
So, and that was the hearing.
Just about this time. Yeah.
How long was that hearing?
That hearing was 3.5 hours.
3.5.
But I want to say that over 100 people came on Zoom to what's called a quasi-judicial process.
In the middle of a Wednesday.
In the middle of a Wednesday afternoon from all over the country. And there was people who bought pies and volunteered with pies in Oakland and St. Pete. People who are in the Black is Back Coalition in New York, Africans from all over the country, people from right in this neighborhood. One woman, it was so moving. She testified that the center here is so important because one of her family members died, and you could hear the grief in her voice years later. You could just hear it, that she said, but I did not have to leave my community to have a repast for my loved one. Other people saying, we don't want to leave the community to spend our dollars. And that this kind of slander against the Black community, they're very generous. They're like, it's ignorant. Well, it's way more than ignorant, but it is very ignorant, that not only Black people don't have money, but they don't have a right to have money. And I just really appreciate being in APSC and being a part of this, because we're trying to make this happen. We're working under the leadership of President Otis Chantel, who's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The brilliance of the African working class to the hilt drove every effort of this campaign. Checklist, get the community, get the lawyer, get the support, get the media, do all that. And, and just brilliant. And just to hear the slander against the African community and to have a stake in it. This is what the Black community deals with every day. This is colonialism. And, we cast our fate with the African working class, and it's like a battle, but it was amazing. And there's a lot more to do. Permits not in hand yet. The permits got to be in hand. And then you got to get inspections, and you got to get an occupancy permit, and then you got to get a health permit and all this. So, there's a lot of places along the way, but APDF is not the only one that deals with this. Really, every Black business deals with it. And this street that we're on right here was flourishing. Anybody who's like over 55 years of age, who's been living in this community, tells you stories like, when I was a teenager, I used to go down the street and we'd shop and stuff. And there's hardly any evidence of that right now, except for the Black Power Blueprint. And those who are opposed to it, they're not doing anything for the people. They're trying to save this. Some of them own their own properties, but that's that's not what this is. This is for the people. And I'm just really honored to be a part of it. And I just want to say, Mr. Eddie is amazing.
Yes.
Molly, who works on your team, and Sayali were on last week and did an interview about this before the hearing. And Mr. Eddie was amazing. I just want to salute Mr. Eddie and the whole struggle against the grant being taken back. All this COVID money that's supposed to go to the Black community. St. Louis has over half a billion dollars of that. They're not spending anything on the Black community. It's outrageous.
Right.
So yeah, this is part of the reparations work. This is really part of the reparations work.
And just we're approaching the end of our program, but real quick.
And we've got about 3 minutes left. And I just want to encourage all of our listeners, if you're sitting there with your debit card or your credit card in hand, start typing away and get those donations in, because we got Sandy from Olympia, Washington, putting in $20. We've got Indigo in Columbus, Ohio, putting in $20. That means we're only $70 away from our goal of 1,000. So let's do it. Let's do it in these next couple of minutes.
Somebody can knock that out.
Yes.
But for this bakery and cafe, what do the people have to look forward to once it's complete?
Once it's complete, one thing is it's going to be like a state of the art kind of design where people can see into the bakery prep area, who's making your food, best high quality ingredients, best food safety standards. Somebody looks just like you is making your food, you know. Being able to sit around and talk to each other in a community and over a cup of coffee, a sandwich, a slice of pie. You know, being able to get trained in culinary school and skills, being able to get a job, you know. So those are some things, and hopefully other restaurants opening up on West.
Start something.
Absolutely. Great.
Thank you so much, both of you, for being on. It's been incredible, and you know, it's been great to be here and see this whole process. And I just want to ask.
Sayali too.
Yes. What a benefit. I mean, Uhuru. And I just want to ask, Chairwoman Penny, do you have any parting words for our audience today?
Well, I mean, this is so much, you know, it's very exciting to be on the winning side.
Yes.
Everything the Uhuru movement and Chairman O'Malley should tell the deputy chair just brilliantly go up against City Hall, literally, and you know, and the government, which is attempting to stifle the interest of African working class over and over again, and so blatantly in this particular city, but everywhere, you know, in this country, and just go up there and take it on and win so many supporters, and it's very, and the whole community is and it's very exciting, and I know that this is going to be an incredibly important victory when this Uhuru Bakery Cafe opens, and there's many more projects to come.
And shout out to Lisa for topping us off. We have hit our $1,000 goals. Want to thank all of our incredible guests. I want to thank my co-host today, Jesse Neville, chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And I want to thank all of you for listening. Uhuru, reparations in action.